Well, 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 everyone, it's that time again. It's time for current movie reviews to return because,
It's been a while.
it's been 3 months.
Oh my.
I mean, more like 2 months.
It's been quite a while, considering it felt like last year we were going to the movie theater like every other week.
I mean, if you think about it, this is the first week of March, and the last thing we did was like the first or second week in January because of the wrap-up.
For the year.
Yeah.
But anyway, we just got back from seeing Onward, Pixar's new movie, starring Tom Holland and Chris Pratt as two brothers who are trying to revive their dead father.
For a day.
Yeah, for a day.
Magic
First off, general thoughts. We're gonna do our general thoughts. We're gonna talk about
non-spoilery stuff, and then we'll talk about trailers and the beginning.
theatrical short that aired at the beginning of this movie.
Yep, and then we'll talk about spoilers.
Yeah.
So that's how this is gonna break down. General thoughts.
All right. So obviously this is we just got out of the theater. My thoughts may change as time goes on, but I would rank this Pixar film along the lines of something with like Cars or Brave.
AKA, they're fine, but they're not great, and they're certainly nowhere near the top of the list.
Right.
They're
And
not as
that's
bad as like The Good Dinosaur or Cars 2, which are the absolute worst.
are at the bottom of the Pixar list. But like, this was fine. I really like the message the movie is going for, even if it's super obvious like 10 minutes in what they're going for.
I mean, to be honest, I actually felt like I got sideswiped by the message.
Really?
I wasn't even expecting that to come out, and I was like, well, wait, that does make sense.
Oh. No,
I guess I wasn't paying attention.
I was predicting it like from the very beginning, and I was like, if they don't go this direction, this will be a little insulting. But they did, so I'm like, good. I'm glad they went this direction.
And it's a good message.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later in the spoiler section. A very heartwarming message, typical Pixar tearjerker moments about it. And all that jazz. My biggest issue with the movie comes from the world building and characterization, I guess, if I had to call it something. We just got out of the movie, so I haven't pinned down my exact thoughts about this, but just something about the world building feels off, and something about the characterization feels off to me. I think the world building is a little bit more obvious. In a lot of Pixar movies, you have these strange fantastical worlds that are built for and by the strange fantastical creatures. And this world does not feel like it was built for the magical creatures that live in it.
Yeah, it feels like it's made for humans, but there are also centaurs and small goblins and pixies and
manticores.
And so nothing feels scaled to work with all of these different sizes. It feels like it's all the same general humanoid-sized everything.
Right. You know how in Zootopia, you look around at the city and you're just like, wow, they really took care in making this feel like this is a city that accommodates for everyone. In Onward, you look around and go, wow, this is a society built to accommodate no one but the elves. And it's not like there's a message that goes along with that. It's just that if you're not an elf, you're kind of your species are going to get laughed at and joked about. Which is funny because there was also a big old marketing campaign around this movie about oh, yet again, Disney has their first LGBT character. Look how progressive our movie is. But they didn't even build a world to be accommodating to the creatures that live in it.
So that just feels even more just thrown on there, which,
right.
By the way, it's a single throwaway line that they can easily write out of the script or they can change.
Just redub.
Redub 2 words for China.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Yep. Officer lady says her girlfriend's kid can be quite a handful too.
Makes me want to pull my hair out or something.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's your representation. Here you go, LGBTs. Have
Watch
fun.
our movie.
Yeah. But, like, again.
I think it's generally okay. The point of the movie is it is a buddy movie, adventure film.
Buddy sibling movie.
Where they're going on an adventure and bonding over the adventure part. And I think that general core works fairly well.
Uh-huh. The movie takes a lot of, like... The movie has a lot of side characters. I guess not really, but it feels like we spend way too much time with them.
I would agree wholeheartedly. They feel useless at best.
It just kind of...
It detracts from the main core focus of what the movie is supposed to be about, which is the buddy-buddy of the two main characters, but we keep cutting to other characters doing things that don't add to this integral plot. It feels like this movie needed to have another 12 rewrites to, like, focus the story more.
Well, the problem is that, like, the side plots don't tie in to the overall narrative.
But are required for the end goal that they already wrote.
Right, which has nothing to do with, like, the theme of the movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, if you cut them out of the movie, then it's just another Pixar film where two guys go on an adventure and have a heartwarming...
Guy bro dude things.
Yeah.
So they wrote all these other characters in here who are definitely the other random minority characters that aren't guys doing things.
Yeah.
Because they need to be in there for... It honestly feels like they're in there just because...
Just to be in there.
Be in there so that the movie is more inclusive.
Yeah. Anyway, though, going back to the characterization, Tom Holland and Chris Pratt play our two leads, and I think they do okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
think Tom Holland does a good job. Chris Pratt's
a good actor.
Yeah.
I
don't dig his character a whole lot.
I think there's just been too much Chris Pratt lately. Honestly, like, I kind of feel the same about Tom Holland. Like, we literally just watched another movie a few months ago with Tom Holland as an animated character. And he's, like, kind of the same character.
Right, that came out 2.5 months ago.
Yeah.
You're right. It's the same character. I mean, people have already pointed it out, but the characters look identical. One has blue skin, but otherwise they're identical.
Yeah. This trend of putting famous live-action actors in animated roles,
mm-hmm.
I don't think is hurting animated films the way a lot of people might say that they are, but I definitely don't think it's helping animated films. You know?
Sorry, what? I was trying to look up a character's name. I agree with you. Whatever you said. You probably...
What?
I say whatever you said is probably a correct thing to think about. I was just getting distracted by looking up the Manticore's actress's name.
Thank you.
Octavia Spencer. And it's listed as Octavia Spencer as Corey, a Manticore, even though the movie specifically goes out of its way to say that the Manticore, the name of the Manticore is the Manticore. They don't have another name.
No, she goes by Corey.
Does she?
She has a name tag that says Corey.
Oh, I get it. Manticore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's another thing. The humor in this movie just didn't really work for me most of the time.
Yeah, it's just to try it. It's
not that it was bad. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't bad. I think a lot of it just has to do with, like, this suburban environment.
Suburban fantasy has been done a lot.
So much.
Over the past 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
In not just movies but just, like, in all media that we, as a society, like...
As a society.
As a society, we live in a society where we ingest modern fantasy.
Of modern fantasy.
A lot. And I mean, non-modern fantasy as well. And it just, I don't know, I'm bored of it. And this didn't do anything
super fresh or new with the idea
source
of
material
of
just modern fantasy.
And this might make it sound like we're really, really ragging on the movie. But I do want to reiterate, this is not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. It was fine. It was fine. I probably won't, I'm not going to be super excited to see this one again anytime soon, but it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, if I had, just going off of what I feel right now, if I had to rank it on what Pixar movies I want to see again. We kind of already mentioned it being similar to Brave or Cars. I would put it in between Brave and Cars. I would watch Brave again before this, but I would watch Onward again before I watched Cars again.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, can we talk about that theatrical short now?
Sure, but I guess first, just general sum up. Go watch it, I guess. Make your own opinion. Mm-hmm. If nothing about this sounds interesting to you, probably just pass and wait and watch it when it's, illegally online or on Disney Plus. But you don't have, why pay for Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Oh.
Sure, support the mega
corporation.
Billionaire corporation.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, I agree with that. I would say that, if you saw the trailers and you were like, yes, this looks like my cup of tea, then it's probably your cup of tea. I honestly think that trailers probably do a pretty accurate job at telling you what this movie is going to be about.
Yeah,
and the trailers didn't really impress us, and then we went to go watch the movie, and the movie, didn't super impress us. So, it was fine, but,
nothing really there for us specifically.
So this might be one where it's
the trailers actually tell you if you're gonna like the movie or not, probably.
Right. Anyway, so there was a short.
So what did you say to me specifically after this short was over? Just to give people an idea of, before you even tell people what's going on or what kind of short this is, you need to say what you said to me.
So the short finished, and I turned to Sean as the credits were going across it, and I said, Sean, are the straights okay? And you told me...
No.
They're not.
They're not. We watched
a
Simpsons short where the baby character is madly in love with another baby character, and it's a romantic comedy.
It's a rom-com for babies.
But because it's it's supposed to be an adult comedy thing. So she's putting on makeup and other stuff, but framed as a baby. And she's trying to get to him.
Dabbing milk behind her ears.
And why? I'm just wondering why the idea of a baby romantically falling in love with another baby is the correct choice for comedy.
It's not. It's really not. Everything about this was so
That's
awkward.
creepy.
Yeah, it was just creepy and weird. Straight people are weird.
I'm also going to be perfectly honest. I've not really watched The Simpsons. I've heard many, many, many things about The Simpsons.
Of course.
Some people think it's great and it's gone downhill. Some people have said it's always been bad. Some people think it's still good, but just kind of running its course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
I can't tell you the wave of disappointment that went over me when I saw that there was a theatrical short, and then it became there was the Mickey Mouse ears, and then it faded to black and faded back in, and it was Homer Simpson holding donuts, and I was like, God damn it!
Wow, I kind of really don't like this.
I already hate everything. I thought I was there was a spark of hope in me, like, oh my god, some, like, original theatrical short. I didn't know this was coming. Bless! Oh my god, this will be something exciting to talk about. And then The Simpsons showed up, and I was like, no!
It's like, alright, maybe it'll at least be funny, and it happened, and I'm just like, what the hell was that?
As soon as I, like, they set up what the joke was going to be throughout the whole short, I was like, oh, no! No! Oh. The animation wasn't even that good. It's, like, on par with normal Simpsons stuff.
Mm-hmm. And they're, like, with a few very obvious 3D elements in there that looked bad. Well, that happened.
Yeah. Was there any other trailers we saw?
We saw 3 trailers for new animated movies coming out this year, and because it's a new year, we might as well talk about them because it's been a while.
What were they?
Oh, okay. I can only think of 2, but I know there was 3. We had...
I can't think of any of them.
Soul.
Oh, we've already talked about that trailer a million times.
We're not looking forward to it because it looks like they're throwing a good premise in the trash.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
That's all we're gonna say.
Go.
We've already ranted about it before.
Yep.
Trolls.
New trailer. I still want to see that movie.
I want to watch this movie because it knows what it's going to be. It's supposed to be a bright, fun, colorful movie about weird little animals singing covers of pop music. I loved that idea in the first movie. It worked very well, and it looks like they're doing the same thing again. So I'm looking forward to it. It's my #1 movie I'm looking forward to this year.
Trolls, please don't disappoint.
And there was the 3rd movie in there, but I can't for the life of me think of what it was. I guess instead we could talk about Connected.
Yeah. I seriously cannot remember what this other trailer was.
Maybe it'll come to us.
We have seen a trailer for Connected. That's the new Sony movie. Is that coming out this year?
It's coming out this year, near the end of the year. I feel like it was just announced with the trailer like a week ago at most. And I don't know what to make of this one. It's got a
beautiful art style.
Yeah, a quote-unquote fresh new art style, which has been seen in like 20 well-known, well-done indie games at this point. So it's not really that fresh, but it's new for an animated movie, I guess. Honestly, it looks like the art style feels like it's riding off of Sunny with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a lot of what the animation also looks like it's going off of. But the premise...
However, the premise
is boomer dad, I guess he's not necessarily boomer, but older dad is feeling like he can't connect to his daughter who is about to go off to college, so he forces them on a road trip, a family road trip, and he's going to connect to his family again.
And gosh darn evil technology.
Darn technology that I don't understand as an older guy. Also, left turn, robots are evil. What? You didn't need that last part in there.
Whatever. Yeah. This is one we'll have to wait and see what more trailers tell us and what the movie turns out to be. But
so
I'm
far,
really
I like
not.
the art style and the animation that we're seeing, but the premise has got me groaning a little. It's like, oof, this could go really bad. But you know what? Sunny with the Chance of Meatballs did the same thing. Where it's like, oh, this premise looks bad. And then you watch the movie and you're like, you know what? That was great.
That was fantastic, yeah. So hopefully it changes our mind. Still can't remember what that other trailer was. Let's talk spoilers. So,
we're just thinking of Mulan.
Maybe.
I don't know. We're not going to see it.
Yeah.
It's a live-action Disney movie. We're not watching those anymore, guys.
No.
Just
plus, Mulan's awful.
The actor, the actress of Mulan is a terrible person.
Yikes. No
Anyways,
thanks. Spoilers for Onward.
If you don't want spoilers, get it out.
Shoo. Okay. So, Mom and Corey.
Okay.
Mom and Corey.
Mom and Corey are in this movie more than they need to be, but they're in here because of inclusivity. So, Honestly, that feels like the only reason they're in here. So Mom and Corey are chasing after the boys, but they do literally nothing. We just cut to them every now and again as they, I don't know, steal a sword, which doesn't feel like it fits in this movie at all. Mm-hmm. And then they fight the big old evil dragon thing at the end of the movie.
Because there's a big old evil dragon thing at the end of the movie.
That has to be in the movie because it's a big movie and it has to have a climax, so we're throwing in a big old evil dragon thingy.
The story beats in general in this movie feel really, really forced.
Uh-huh. Alright, so brief cut there. We just went and got some food. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we don't cover the same plot points we were just talking about.
Yeah. The plot beats in this movie feel super forced. Every time, like, I feel it's mostly with the, like, emotional beats of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime the characters need to have a confrontation about something, it just kind of, like, comes out of nowhere or is spurred on very randomly in a conversation. Like,
we're having a conversation. Oh, we're joking and having fun. Wait, hold on, stop, slow down. I gotta have a deep heart-to-heart moment with you, which takes all of like a minute and doesn't really feel very deserved.
Or genuine.
Oh, well, we're moving on again. But we had to get that in the movie somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was more so thinking of like the plot beat where
they dance with their dad. That was really awkward.
That was, okay. Yeah, anytime we check anything off of Ian's list is, like, super obvious and awkward is why I saw the ending of the movie coming from, like, a mile away.
Oh. I didn't even think about his stupid list.
Yeah. Then we have the scene where the boys put on a disguise spell and they pretend to be the officer that their mom is dating to some other cops so they can get away with driving away. And they're just about finished wrapping up this conversation. And the conversation has kind of been about how, like, oh, you know, it's really hard being a parent, yada, yada, yada. And, like, they've finished the conversation. The conversation's done. He's leaving. And then, unprompted, the one officer just goes, oh, man, you sure do have a rough time with those kids, don't ya?
Or with that kid.
With that kid, don't ya? And so, the whole point of the spell is that they have to not tell a lie.
Or else it stops working.
Or it stops working. So, like, they've already, like, written in a convenience here to work around. And they're like, oh no, Ian's fine. And they're like, oh no, not that Ian kid. The
other one.
What's his name? Whatever. Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. His name is Chris now.
Yeah. That Chris Pratt is a real goofball, do-nothing failure.
Historian.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a different thing I need to talk about, which is just... Alright.
He's like, no, he's a failure. And then, so Ian's like, Ian pretending to be the officer guy's like, oh no, I don't think he's a failure. And then the disguise goes away.
Because...
he's lying. So, oh my god, now the brothers have to have, like, this big falling out with each other, because, like, they don't see eye to eye, and, like, everything, like, all the story beats and emotional beats like that always kind of arise from situations like that, where it's because someone prompted something unexpectedly for no good reason. It was just being like, yeah.
It doesn't feel like a casual conversation.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like natural conversations. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about that. What is going on in the world building of this movie? I wish there was just a little bit more time to explain
or work on magic in this universe.
They say at the beginning of the movie, like a long, long time ago, magic, like the world was filled with wonder and people used magic.
But then they invented technology and stopped using magic, even though it's proven over and over again in this movie that magic can do things that technology definitely cannot do.
Like make things float and fly and give you bridges and shoot lightning. I just like... Why would you stop using magic completely? Because, like, nobody studies magic anymore. Like, Chris Pratt is seen as being, like, this weird, goofy nerd.
For wanting to preserve the historical significance of their town with the fact that their town used to have magical shit going on.
Mm-hmm. But then there's also other things like, Is Corey the Manticore,
is she the same Manticore forever?
Right. Like, what?
Is she just given her job from her previous parents? But she's like the Manticore, so...
Is she really old? I just, what?
Can I talk about Corey?
Go ahead, talk about Corey. I'm gonna take a bite of pizza.
So, Corey the Manticore... Octavia, I think that was the name of the actress. I know I've seen her in other things.
Octavia Spencer.
Octavia Spencer. I know I've heard her in other things. Mm-hmm. You do a good job, generally. Sounds like you were phoning it in this movie. I felt like the
writing for her character was really bad.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think it was necessarily her fault, because the writing for the Manticore was really stupid.
It was all over the place and just...
like, really bad. And then it sounds like they didn't give her enough takes to get a good read on the character. And then the animation didn't ever feel like it meshed with the voice that was coming out of the character. Like, I don't know if it was a thing where they should have gotten more rereads, or it
if
just
they should have altered her voice a little bit.
Like some post-production on her voice to, like, give it a little bit more gruffness or something to make it feel like it's coming out of this huge, intimidating Manticore body. Even if they just put, like, a slight growl or something under, like, certain words or something. Like, anything.
But they also have, like, this... I understand, like, why they didn't. Because they want everything to be, like, super domesticated. Like, she's a big, scary Manticore, but no, she sounds just like a normal person. Haha, that's funny.
Who's the manager running a dumb, like, Chuck E. Cheese establishment, essentially. And, like,
yeah.
But it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. And even when she stops doing her job and, like, is helping with Mom, her characteristics kind of change, but she still doesn't fit ever. And, like, she's animated as though she's supposed to be large and, like, messes with people's vehicles because she's huge, and so the vehicles are always, like, off weight and stuff, but there's never, like, good sound effects or other things around that to make it feel like she's, like, this large character that is large and kind of intimidating. Mm-hmm. And yes, they're trying to domesticate everything, but it just doesn't work for me.
Well, and I really dislike... I know I mentioned this in the non-spoiler section, but it just really doesn't feel like this world is built for the creatures that live in it. Mm-hmm. You know, there's the centaur police officer who...
doesn't have a centaur police car.
Yeah, it's like
he has a regular size
car.
Door.
And he has to, like, squeeze his way in and out of it. And it's just like, why?
You'd think they'd have cars that, you know, the whole side flips up or something so that a horse can get in there.
Right.
It seems really stupid.
Yeah.
And, like, the Manticore, there should be spaces for large Manticores. Because there's also, like, these large troll people and stuff who are just, like, background characters. They also have troubles fitting into seats and stuff. Like,
because everything is built for this, like, for a normal-ass sized elf person, and nothing is built for anybody else. So it kind of feels like the movie should say something about this, like, why it's this way, and, like, wow, that's stupid and that sucks. But, like, it doesn't. it just makes it really weird.
Mm-hmm. Like, same with the pixie bikers. Haha, pixie bikers. Why do the pixie bikers have elf-sized motorcycles? They should have, like, accommodations for pixies. If they're the biker gang characters of your universe, you think they'd have, I don't know, pixie-sized seats with pixie-sized steering wheels or whatever the motorcycle thing is.
And going back to the magic thing, the pixie characters, there's this whole thing where, like, Chris Pratt goes over them and he's like, you know, you guys used to be able to fly, but then we started using all this stupid technology and you guys stopped flying. And I'm like, but why? Why would they stop flying? I don't understand why anyone would stop using magic and why they would stop flying. The movie tries to explain it away by saying, like, oh, magic is hard. It's like, well, yeah, but someone having to make the technology to begin with is hard. Like, just because someone learns how to do something else
doesn't mean you
in
stop
a different
doing
way.
Another trade inherently.
Right. It's like, but magic still does a lot of useful things, and we see how quote-unquote hard it is to do magic. And, like, it's not. Tom Holland, Ian, picks it up.
In a day. Also, there's a whole, only certain people can do magic.
Yeah.
You have to inherently be born with it.
Yeah.
Which is just dumb.
Yeah. The older I get, the more I really, really have grown to dislike you have to be born gifted in order to do this.
Fuck off.
Fuck that. If you put your mind to it, you can learn to pick up pretty much any trade. Yes, there'll be people who maybe pick it up quicker based on certain things, but, like, that is not a, like, born gift or talent that people have. We need to stop perpetuating this idea. I really, really dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay.
I want to go back to Corey real quick.
Okay.
I think another reason I don't like her is because she's the exposition monster. She, more so than anyone else, is just there to shout exposition so that we know what's going on. And setting up this whole quest and the dangers of it and all this other stuff. So she's just there to set up the B plot. The B plot that doesn't add anything to the A plot. Other than to give it a climax that it really didn't need. Yeah, it didn't need it. The climax is they have a fight and then they realize they're wrong and they do the magic just as time runs out.
As far as the parts of this movie I think that are really good, I do really like that it has this father-son brothers connection. That's like a really strong part of the movie. And
that makes I feel really bad for the dad legs. This whole movie.
Yeah, I do.
Because he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like honestly, it made me like super
I hate
uncomfortable because I'm just like, man, he's probably just like he's getting dragged around everywhere.
He doesn't know where he is.
So scared and confused, and I'm like,
he knows that his sons are there because they have like a stupid inherent.
Fills me with existential dread.
But like, he's got to know that he wasn't brought back right because he's only got a bottom half. But like, he can't do anything about it, and he's just stuck like this, and he's just getting dragged around, and he can't see, he can't hear, he doesn't know what's going on. He's just being dragged around. That's got to be miserable.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Putting the existential dread aside, when he is able to communicate with them a little bit by having like Chris Pratt do the thing on his foot, like that's an excellent callback. I love the way they communicate through that. It's super sweet. And I do love that the movie has the climax where
only the older brother gets the chance to go say goodbye.
Yeah, really powerful, and the movie spends so much time focusing on how Ian never got to see his dad, and then how, like...
Chris Pratt had the chance to say goodbye because he was old enough when his dad died the first time to say goodbye, but he couldn't do it.
Because he was scared.
Because he was just Chris Pratt again in the same role where he couldn't say goodbye to his parent that was dying of cancer or whatever.
Yeah. Get your priorities straight, Chris Pratt.
So he got the chance to say goodbye, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. Small little thing. I think they missed a chance to do something here where they could have still had that climactic well done moment, but then still had the chance for everyone to interact with Dad, because this spell that brings him back for only 24 hours, the first time they did it, they messed up and only got the bottom half of his legs, so they had to find a second MacGuffin item to do it for the top half again, which they do just before time runs out. But the time runs out for the bottom half, not the top half. The top half should inherently have another 24 hours, so now they get the magical top half of Dad. You know, the part that matters?
Yeah.
Like the arms and his face, where he can talk to people and see them and hear them.
Yeah.
And then they'd have 24 hours for, you know...
Just a goofy montage.
A goofy montage of, like, the two sons getting to interact with their dad, actually interact with him, and, you know, maybe Mom gets to get in there too.
Okay, it really drives me nuts how much they just completely...
Leave Mom out of that?
Yeah, like, her story is all about protecting her boys, and, like, I get that, but, like, she doesn't even seem that fazed by the fact that she isn't even gonna get a chance to see him. I'm just like... Okay, I mean, yeah, sure. It looks like she's moved on with her life, but, like, come on.
She's starting to date another guy and is probably doing a lot of emotional healing through all of that. And it's been, I don't know, like 16 years or whatever since he died. So she's obviously moved on. But, you know, it'd still probably be nice to see your dead husband again for a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell him... I don't know, man.
The existential dread of this movie, though, is just really starting to weigh on me.
Dude, Mr. Dad, what is your problem? Why the hell would you want to come back for one day just to know that you're gonna die again?
Yeah,
that sounds terrible. And put your loved ones through you dying twice?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I have some...
Is this kind of like magic like, why would you give up magic, but also, like, why would you put your loved ones through this? But, like... I love
how the movie just glazes over the fact that, you know, people could, you know... use magic for evil real easily.
Yeah.
It's like, no, magic was only there to help people.
Right.
Definitely no evil wizards.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, I think
that's enough nitpicks.
Yeah. Overall, yet again, this is an alright movie.
Alright movie.
Not Pixar's best, but, you know... It wasn't The Good Dinosaur, so...
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So, like, again, a lot of these are just, like, nitpicks. They don't ruin the movies.
No.
But again, I think they could have done a better job if they just rehashed that a bit.
Thought about it a little more. I think there's just something kind of uncomfortable with the premise to begin with.
Maybe if you
it might be super comforting to some people, the idea of being able to spend one more day with someone.
Like a lost loved one, but...
Yeah, I don't know. It's just,
I feel
it doesn't
like that
sit well with me.
Personally, that just makes me think it's just like bring up old wounds that you've healed or tried to heal from.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Anyway... Hope you all have enjoyed this review. We'll be back next month for Trolls, right?
Yes, next month for Trolls.
I think
that's the next movie.
Uh-huh.
If not, you'll see us sooner with something else.
There was technically another My Hero Academia movie that came out.
Yeah, but I think we already missed our chance to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So this year we're honestly going to try our best to see more foreign films.
Mm-hmm.
that come out this year, but again, that's a big asterisk because
it might take us a while to get to them. We won't be getting to them right away.
Because we live in an area that they don't come out in, so...
We'll just have to wait until they show up online somewhere, and we can rent them.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be it for this review.
Yep.
If you've seen the movie, let us know what you thought of it. And I guess what I was going to say is, like, maybe you'll be able to crystallize your thoughts with more thought on it and, like...
By the time we get to the end of the year?
Yeah, by the time we get to the end of the year and we've been able to think about the movie more and maybe ingest some other people's thoughts on the movies, that'll help. But yeah, that's going to be it. So...
Have a good one!
Doodles.